nations. Now, I know we're in April, but we just got out of March where we're celebrating women.
Women, no doubt, play a key role in supporting their households and communities in achieving food and nutrition security, generating income and improving livelihoods and overall well-being of the people around them. So specifically here in Kampala, women comprise the largest percentage of the labor force, especially in the informal sector, contributing immensely to the development of the city and its environs.
And recognizing this fact is the Kampala Capital City Authority that has organized a belated celebration to honor the city women and their development within the city. Now, we're honored to have the Honorable Minister for Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs, Betty Olive, come here to help us and tell us more about women's contribution to the development of Kampala. You're most welcome to Morning at NTV, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Rita, and I'm very privileged to be sitting between two young, fresh, beautiful ladies.
Thank you very much.
It's an honor. You told us to call you Auntie Betty in this conversation.
I feel more comfortable sitting between you two.
All right.
I think you should call me Auntie Betty.
Okay, so as Auntie Betty, let's talk about the development within our city that ladies have been a part of, women.
Well, women are amazing. Apart from the usual, now they go out to work. Women put food on the table these days. They pay school fees. And children, it is manifested. It's not just me talking. But when children these days graduate, you go to graduation ceremonies and they're kneeling down and thanking mother, and they take off their cap and give to mother. When they're marrying, they kneel down and thank mother. So mother has taken on a role beyond the traditional role of sit home and wait for father to bring the bread home. And that means if they're all over in all sectors. But what's even more interesting these days, and what I really want to celebrate myself, are the women that have broken through the ranks of jobs originally thought to be men's jobs. I love those girls. When I see the Kanyama girls, you know they're there. You go on the fruit, someone they're there and they're talking down to a tall big man and they says, you can't go in, I have to check you. And they're confident. I have seen women who are masons, bricklaying or making bricks. I have seen women riding bodabodas, riding buses, driving buses and taxis. So in a special way, I really would like to celebrate the women, because normally the women who are celebrated are the ones who stand out in society. They've achieved this and that. But there are those who probably not achieve as much as these other ones, but who have broken the ranks.
Speaking of unsung heroes, especially now that we know that the women actually, contribute to the largest number in the informal sector here in Kampala, and we always talk to them, and these are the traders, the city traders who have been, roughed up by KCC, Literate Center, and they always cry foul, and I'm sure you see this, them talking to you
I
via
knew
the
that was
media.
going to come.
Via the media. What do you have to say about this? The change of, leadership at KCCA from Madam Jennifer Musisi now to Engineer Andrew Chitaka. But still, the women in the city, them that trade on the roads, still continue to cry foul. What's the ultimate solution for them?
One, I really feel terrible because I know they're not enjoying coming to vend bananas and oranges. I mean, they don't enjoy it, but because they have to put food on the table, we all know that. But the city must also be in order. There must be order in the city. Otherwise, we'll have an orderless city, and no one wants that. So what happens is that they should work in designated places, and designated places are marketplaces. But they say our capital is too small, we can't sit down in a marketplace and wait for clients. So what we are trying to do is to excuse me, I have this. What we are trying to do is to find some designate places for them, and I think it will happen very soon, so that we have a place designated for that kind of people who should not be on the street, but who must have the right and space to work and earn some money.
Do you have a rough estimate as to when this is going to happen?
I think it should be happen in the next. KCCA is working at it, and of course the council, Lord Mayor Kwago's council, will gazette, and we are of one mind on this matter. Once they are gazetted, I mean, it's just to find a place and gazette it for women. It should not take more than 2 months from now. But as I said, it is a pity, but the city also has to have order. So.
Okay, and as we talk about the women and their role in the development, we have heard of the burden of unpaid care being mostly on the women right now within our city.
Unpaid what?
Unpaid care. The ones who are at home looking after the judges, the ones who are at home making sure the house is neat, the ladies who don't come to town, but they're making sure at home everything is well. What do you have to say about those women?
I think they're doing a great job, and society is changing in a way that even if you are staying home, you should have something on the side at home. You know, you can do your crafts. Not everybody has to go out to town to work. You stay home, and because this man of asking for money is not a good thing. So what I would like to advise women who stay home, but have your own money-making activity on the side. And it's such a good thing, because there you can even have your children and your jaja helping you with the crafts. But in countries like India, most of the small industries, cottage industries, are in the backyard, in the garages, in the backyard. Everybody does something. Make mandazi and sell it to the shop next door. Make roast groundnuts and take them to school. Your child takes them to school. So somebody should always. Someone said, even for those who work, that salary is not a solution to poverty. It only helps you to manage poverty, but not to get out of poverty. And the solution is get something on the side. Okay, and getting out of poverty, tomorrow's theme is going to be about empowering women through innovative approaches to ensure that they are financially included and there's also social protection for them. Now, for a lady that is coming, a number of times wonder, but I'm already earning something. Why should I then be able to attend something like this? What more can I get from this? Yes. Solidarity, and also everybody who takes a step out of their home or their daily activity to come, they are helping to raise the voice that women are a very strong pillar of society, and the space needs to be opened up for them to bring out their full potential, because there's so much potential that's left inside just because they're women. So if you are a very successful person, especially if you're a very successful person, come out there, show solidarity, and give inspiration to the young girls. They need that.
You know, Auntie Betty, and I'll need your honest opinion on this one. We did have the tenure of Madam Jennifer Musisi, a woman as well. And at some point, women in the city felt like at least we have someone who, you know, recognizes our challenges somewhat, you know, in leadership. And now we do have Engineer Andrew Chitaka. And pretty much right now, we're not seeing the political bickering between Mr. Andrew Chitaka and the Lord Mayor, beg your pardon, the Lord Mayor Iris Lukwago. And someone once argued, is it an issue of having a woman at the forefront of the capital city, or what exactly was it? Why didn't we see, you know, a great camaraderie or pretty much unity when it comes to the leadership of the city authority? Moving forward, are we yet to see better things coming up that will support the woman trader in the city, now that at least we're seeing them working better? Absolutely.
And the problem of KCCA is not Lord Mayor Lukwago, and it is not Jennifer Musisi, no Andrew Chitaka, no Betty Kamya or Benina Mugwanya. After 7 years since the inception of KCCA, of bickering and changing people, because the president has done his work. He says, if the minister is wrong, okay, I'll change the minister. I'll change the minister. So he's changed ministers 7 times, but the issues remain. And we found, and I think it's right, that the problem is actually in the law that governs the city. The law puts together the functions, the legislative functions, the administrative functions, the oversight functions in one section and calls them functions of the authority. And then the executive functions, like doing the roads and the electricity and all those were put in that act. And then the legislative functions, like levying taxes and doing ordinances, these are legislative functions, are also in the same act. So when both of them are trying to implement that section, they cross into the same lane or into each other's lane. So what we are doing, and it should happen anytime soon, is to amend the law that governs the city so that we separate the functions of the legislature, of the administration, of supervision, monitoring. And everybody will be playing in their lane.
Okay.
But now you're trying to be in one lane altogether.
No, they're all in one lane altogether, and you're trying to do.
But what's different this time? We've not seen them clashing. Just the other day they launched, the master plan for the drainage system that will cost, that will pretty much cost 770 billion Uganda shillings. And the Lord Mayor himself actually said that this time round I have a partner who we can work with. What is different this time round? Is it that we have a male
personalities. I don't think it's. I don't know. I cannot speak for the Lord Mayor, but from a scientific point of view, because I don't want to go into personalities, but from a scientific point of view, there was a problem in the law which we are trying to disentangle. But that problem, of course, brought out the personalities of the people, and plus, of course, we must remember when you are beginning, pioneering, it's difficult. The road can never be smooth. And these were pioneering. The Lord Mayor and the City Executive Director were both pioneers at administering the city in this new format of Kampala Capital City Authority, managed by law by the central government, whereas before it was managed by the local government. So putting your mind around this, that now by constitution Kampala Capital City is governed by the central government. Below it was governed by the local government.
Okay. Now taking it back to women's development and how we can't ignore the fact that there are men in this society.
Absolutely.
Where would you put the men with helping women in terms of their development? Are they being hindrances or are they pushing them forward?
I think that men would like to help women as long as there is a rider. And that rider, I will help you as long as you let me be the man. That means that you put a rider and conditions. And those conditions are the ones that actually are the problem. I will help you as long as you let me be the boss, as long as you let me be the man. As long as as long as it's that rider, then the conflict in aspirations, we have that. But I think there's been a lot of moving forward, not just in Uganda, the whole world, in this movement of women. When it started, it was like a rebellion, defiance. But now it's like, no, we work together. We're supposed to work together, not to rebel, not to defy, not to fight. So I think now we are coming together for men to understand that all women want is equal space and equal opportunities.
Without conditions in any one way.
Without conditions. If you have a boy and a girl, give them the same. And some men fight against, they say there's too much empowerment for women. But men have been empowered for millions of years from the beginning. It was the boy that went to school. It's the boy that inherited property. It's the boy that didn't do any many work at home. So they've been empowered for millions of years. And now they feel threatened by the empowerment of women in the last couple of decades. So I think they should understand that, yes, women empowerment or affirmative action should continue for the girl, because it has been there all the time. Since time immemorial, affirmative action has been in favor of the boy.
All right, okay. And you know, when you talk about factors that support, you know, the productivity of the woman in the city, then you can't run away from the issue of traffic jam. Yes, one person once said, and
I should have been warned. You girls.
You know, experts actually say that we lose, you know, the most productive hours of our days in traffic jam. And still talking about, you know, just having a conducive environment to support, you know, the economy being grown by women. What's the ultimate solution of the Kampala traffic jam?
Well, we are working on that, as I said, and of course, you know, but before you put food on the table, it's so much work, beginning with acquiring of land. It's not just water and putting in the sephora. It begins with acquiring of land, acquiring of seeds, plant the seeds, harvest, take it home. You know, that's the process that puts food on the table. And so there's been a long process, among which we intend to reintroduce the public public transport, buses and trams. Trams will be in the periphery of the city, so that not everybody must come to the city. Now the problem is everybody must come to the city first. It's like a clearinghouse. Whether you're going to Masaka, Mitiana, wherever, Guru, you come to the city center first. But if there is a traffic or transport in the periphery, a lot of people don't need to come to the city. Another thing that we're looking at, of course, when we sort out the public transport system, then we shall reduce on the taxis and the borders, and then we intend to widen the road so that there is pedestrian parts on the side, and then of course lots of other things. We might think of removing roadside parking so that there's one safe park. Say, for example, at Constitutional Square, that's a big public park which can take about 1,000 vehicles. You park there and then you walk down to Luomo Street across from Duster Street. You can walk down and walk up instead of walking around town looking for a car park. So there are several, it is something that we are focusing on very, very closely.
So it's work in progress?
Yes, it's work in progress.
How many years roughly? Because I'm sure this is good news that everyone would want to, okay, if you say in 10 years, then at least people are gearing up.
I really think that within the next year or two, something drastic, something visible will have happened. Of course, there are things that can't happen right away, because you remember the cooking.
Yes.
Because if we bring a bus, you've got to lay the infrastructure. You need a bus lane, you need bus stops, you need a bus terminals, you need a service base, you need a training of staff, you need to schedule the buses. If they come modern buses, they'll probably have a card, not money, you know, the card system. So all that is being thought about, but I think that in the next 1 year or so, there should be some visible ad hoc changes.
This is only being the biggest question for me would be, as Kampala, the entire city right now, there are a number of things that women traders go through. They have a number of bottlenecks that are hindering them. Yes, we just have to take it back for a bit of what is being done. Because we can say there are all these innovative approaches that they can have to have social protection and financial inclusion, but what is being done by the authority itself and also as a minister?
Well, a lot actually is being done, although it is not coming. And I think we are going to, if you allow me to delve into that.
Please.
One of the things that we shall be showcasing tomorrow, Kampala will be celebrating International Women's Day, is showcase the successes of, we've come a long way, but government has put in place activities. For instance, UWEP, Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Program, where you have to be a woman to qualify for that facility. But they also gain in other programs like student loans. I mean, apart from all the others, the student loans, the youth livelihood, also have quotas for women, and on top of that, you have activities that are exclusively women. So it may not be visible now because they're not coming out to say, here I am, I got a good thing. It's the one who is who has not received anything that will come out and say, here I am, and it's the one that we focus on. But there's so many other people that have really benefited from, you know, from being women in Uganda.
Right, right. You know, last year, just as we come to a close, as we bring this to a wrap, still talking about then having a conducive environment for the woman trader to be able to do her business and to feel that she's going to be secure and safe. Let's talk about the Budda industry. You know, last year around Easter, KCCA said that this is going to be the deadline to register all Buddas. But somehow, you know, it's something that started off but, you know, fizzled out. And yet you're seeing the Budda industry not being, you know, how will I put it, tamed enough, because we are having, a report was released in 2017 saying that by the end of 2017, 7,000 people had in one way or another been affected in terms of accidents with Buddas. So what is this puzzle that is so hard to crack with regards to taming the Budda industry?
Well, it's another work in progress that you talked about, but you're right. I mean, it's the Budda accident. There's a whole ward in Mulago Hospital reserved for Budda accidents, and it's a strain on the national health budget. I mean, to reserve a big portion of Mulago budget for Budda accident victims is a terrible thing. But as I said, one of the outcomes of the decongestion of the city will be less Buddas, as you will see them. As for registration, you're right. We started to register them, but you see, Buddas are also closely linked with the insecurity. Whenever there is a problem, a death, an abduction, a robbery, there is a Budda in the picture somewhere. So His Excellency the President came in and is working on a program now to monitor all motorists wherever they will be, and that exercise is currently the one that actually kind of what do I say, caused an interlude in the registration process, because now there is the security aspect. They are going to have to be chipped and monitored wherever you are, so that, and wherever you are in Uganda, so that it enhances the security. But as I said, another work in progress.
How about the quick wins? Just ensuring that every Budda, you know, operator has a helmet for himself and the, you know, passengers, and a reflective jacket.
Yeah, true. And I also want to really, let me take this opportunity to commend the private sector who have come in, like we have Safe Border, we have Uber Border, we have Taxify. They have the young people who have teamed up with other young people. I think Safe Border is working with some young people from Sweden, and they have registered almost 9,000 to 10,000 Buddas, and they have rules.
Interesting.
Which they live by. So it's getting, even the private sector is working to
ensure that the space is somewhat tamed. All
so
right,
I really want to.
We'll be looking forward to seeing, you know, more changes in the Budda industry.
Yeah. Can I just invite everybody to come?
Yes, please, as you come to a close.
I would like tomorrow. Of course, you know that the International Women's Day is celebrated every year on the 8th of March, and Uganda joins the international community. After that, then different jurisdictions organize their own International Women's Day, and tomorrow Kampala City will be celebrating our own Women's Day, and it's going to take place at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. The chief guest will be His Excellency the President of Uganda. I would like to invite everybody watching me or listening or who has heard about it to come tomorrow, Kololo Ceremonial Grounds, and be there.
Is it free? What time does it start?
It's free. Gates will be open by 10 o'clock. His Excellency will be there by 1 o'clock. So gates will be open by 9 o'clock.
All right.
So please come. No, it's not just for women, men as well, because we are together in this.
All right.
If you are the son of a woman, the husband of a woman, the sister of a girl,
Turn up.
the husband,
Turn up.
please turn up. Let's celebrate tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much, Auntie Betty Kamia.
Yes, thank you. I like that very much.
The Minister for Kampala for coming in studios. Now you have it. Keep your questions coming. The hashtag is morning@NTV. She's on social media. By the way, you can tag her directly and she'll look at your questions. That's it for Morning@NTV Kickstarter segment. We'll be back with Tekno Tongo Tufa.
Play and win every 10 minutes. For every 1,000 you spend, it gives you one entry into